I am at the little lodge that's attached to a big hospital that's about an hour and a half away from where I live, getting cancer treatment. So that's where I've been, and that's what I've been up to. The whole journey has been a while, in the making. It's not always like what you see on TV when, you take one blood test and the doctor shows you into their office and they're like, you have cancer. It's not like that. There's a lot of blood tests, and there's a lot of other tests, and there's a lot of doctors, and there's a lot of phone calls, and there's a lot of crying, and there's a lot of sadness, and there's a lot of surgery. So that's what I've been dealing with. I've been off work for some time from the women's shelter. I've been working a lot on my writing projects, which is so amazing and so exciting. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I have energy to actually not just create, but then go back and edit and cultivate these works. So that's been really fun. Like for example, I'm working on, I recalled a collection of poetry that I actually wrote just around when just after my marriage to a man ended, and just before I came out. So in that liminal place of I think I'm bi, but I really just don't like men, and then moving into it's not I'm a lesbian, and also I have agency, which a lot of my life I didn't feel like I did, or it was proven to me that I didn't. So I was finally exploring that autonomy for the first time, and I was doing it through this writing, this really angry, visceral, intense poetry that that I like, and I would have loved to have read, but like I said, it's been I think I started the series almost 8 years ago, so it's hard to think that it's still relevant because it's not necessarily relevant to me. But if I think about where I was 8 years ago and how much I needed that, and how much maybe that would have accelerated some of my healing or self-love, or just identifying what was going on in the world around me, then that makes me think yes, I do need to release this. It does need to be in the world because it could help someone else in their journey, and that's I think what we're all here to do, is experience things and help others experience things in a positive way. So working on editing that collection of poetry, which I think is something like 84 poems right now. It needs to be pared down pretty significantly, needs to be ordered in terms of what the structure of the collection will be. I also finally put together all of these other poems that I had written about my first relationships with relationships with women, and how just because I was out didn't mean I was healed, and I was still self-destructive and outwardly destructive, and was drawn to people who were also in that place of healing, which was not there yet. So I finally collected those poems, and I think there's something like 40 of them, which is really close to a collection in itself. So I really want to round that out, and then I'll have those to work with. I also have cool news about just a short story collection. I was shortlisted for the CBC Nonfiction Prize last year, 2019, for a piece I did called The Long Driveway. I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out. It's a flash of my life as a teenager on the day that my mom finally leaves the man who's been abusing us. And so that was shortlisted. That was that's the top. It was top 5 in Canada for nonfiction, so that was really cool. I've been applying to other contests because I just find that really compelling for some reason, and really fun and interesting and challenging. And I have good news about other things, but I can't tell you, 'cause secret. And So like that's all going on at the same time as the cancer, which is I mean, can you imagine? Like it's been a wild ride. I did have to have a hysterectomy. Oh shit, like what a bummer. That was so unfortunate to have to do, because I was like that woman who was like, it's your moon time. It's time to celebrate being a woman. It's your flow, it's your connection, it's the moon. We're one. We're woman. I'm still very much like that, by the way. Only now I have an app that tells me what my moon time is, because I no longer get a period. So that was a huge bummer. I had ovarian cancer and or cancer in my uterus. We don't know where it started. So I'm getting like genetic testing to be like, are you like genetically mutated in like the most unfortunate way? Like totally not an ex-woman at all. Or maybe there's some perk to it that I don't know yet. Where I can use my like super cancer powers for good and not evil. But I don't know. So they think they got all of the cancer, but I still have to do radiation and maybe chemotherapy, because they think that like I have a wonky lymph node, and if I do have this genetic disorder, then chances, don't touch your face, then chances of cancer recurrence is pretty high, significant enough that I would go against my like natural is better and let the earth heal you and put your tits in some dirt and like heal. And actually like do radiation and chemo, which I really didn't want to and still don't want to. So, and that's where I am right now. I'm on my second week of 5 or 6 weeks of radiation, aimed at my upper vagina area. I no longer have a cervix, so it's just kind of like around there. Really cool. Like if you wanna like really follow this journey in depth, like way more depth, you get to see my uterus, like that's cool. And cancer, you can see cancer. Go to my website, kathleenmay.ca, and follow, I'll try to do like a table of contents for the blog posts that are related to the cancer, but you can kind of follow them back through the Ovary Achiever series, and then there's some new updates too. So like writing has been my haven throughout this. It's been the only thing that like makes me feel real, because I don't know why this is happening. It's extremely rare for someone my age to get this type of cancer. I caught it super, super early, and yet it's really advanced. Well, it's stage 3A. So depending on the type of cancer, that could be more or less advanced, but that's what my type of cancer is staged at right now. And yeah, like having a hysterectomy was like a really shitty deal, because I'm going through menopause now. I can't take HRT for the estrogen, because my cancer might be like driven by estrogen, and that will just give me more cancer. So I'm going through surgical menopause with no HRT, which is like, if you just want to Google something and just pray, well, be grateful for the fact that you have ovaries. If you do, then Google surgical menopause with no HRT, because that's a journey. If you do have ovaries and you're like, oh, bummer, like I'm ovulating and it hurts, I just want to say, like, truly, you need to check your ovary privilege, because I miss them so much. You have no idea until you like do the research, or until something like this happens to you. You have no idea how impactful they are. And I thought I knew, and I was not as informed as I am now, which I almost wish I weren't. But it had to be done. Like it really did have to be done. So I'm like 33 years old, going through menopause, going through cancer treatment. My writing is really taking off. This virus is like destroying the social fabric under our feet while we like grasp at normalcy and each other, except we're not allowed to grasp at each other anymore. So we're like grasping at each other across a distance, and that's why I decided to hop back onto YouTube and start making some videos again to update people on what this journey is like, what is going on with me, why I think the patriarchal medical establishment should like burn to the ground, and I will be the first one with a torch, and like just my progress with writing, because now that I'm off work, there's a lot that I can't do. There's like a lot that I can't do right now. I am taking chemo with the radiation as well. That's a big part of it. But there's also like my brain is constantly being like, okay, you can't walk down a flight of stairs today because you're nauseous. You can't make yourself food because everything smells disgusting. You can't smile at your girlfriend because like your face muscles are too weak and it will feel like a lie. But do you want to think about like 12 different plot points for this story that you've never written? Yes, that's what my brain is like. Yes, I want to think about those things. I want to do those things. I don't want to do anything else. You lay in bed after radiation and you think about stories and women's stories and just what needs to be said and what doesn't get to be said, and who is silenced and who is deliberately unheard. Aaron Dottie Roy, like, what is actually going on that we need to talk about? So those are the sorts of things that I'm thinking about. I'm like working on a memoir, I'm working on travelogues, I'm working on columns, the poetry, that's kind of a newish thing. Nonfiction is a newish thing for me, and then tons of fiction, like fiction all over the map. More in the short story area and novella, because I can do that. And it's funny because my girlfriend was just looking up yesterday like what her type speed was, and she read that there's a certain speed where you type as fast as your thoughts form, and that's like my typing speed. So I can write as fast as my thoughts form, which is why I'm so skilled in this particular area of writing well quickly. And so, I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do. It's obvious to me. I've always written. I've always wanted to write. I know all these words. Like, I should put them somewhere. They're gonna go to waste if I don't use them. Anyway, so that's all I want to say for today. I'll do updates whenever. I don't really care. And, if things start to get dark for me, like terminal, then maybe I'll live blog that, or maybe I won't. I don't know. Check out my website. It's the best. It's kathleenmay.ca. And check out my Instagram. I am there the most, and that's kathleen.may. And I'm on Twitter like a little bit, but not enough that I'm going to give you the handle, and Facebook too, I guess, same. So just like be my friend, listen to my stories, talk to me. If you have cancer, like that sucks. If you have ovaries, like that's awesome, unless that also sucks for you, which in case that sucks too. Long distance hugs. Bye.